Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Gruesome and Grotesque video. As always, I just do these videos randomly whenever I come across an article, either on my Google News app or something else that I read online that I feel merits posting it within this particular playlist. Such is the case with this very horrendous, just absolutely gruesome ending to a promising young man, somebody who was out there in a sea of water that just happened to face the ultimate nightmare. I mean, this is truly the stuff of nightmares if you're like me and is someone that is fearful of deeper, darker waters. I know that there's fans out there reading this now who just love the water, love going out there for scuba diving or just swimming, or in this case, with regards to this young man involving his spearfishing habit. But it just goes to show that all it takes is one fateful encounter with a gruesome nightmare to actually meet a horrible, absolutely horrible death. So in this case, it has to do with this. You're looking at a picture of the young man himself, and in essence, the video is he was eaten alive by a great white shark. Again, worst conditions you can think of possible. So let's go ahead and let's share that information here as to what happened, and then I'll include some information also from his friends as well. Truly reading this, it exactly read like you would see in the movie Jaws. I mean, when it comes to this type of encounter, you never want anything to happen, but that's what happened to this guy. So again, you're looking at a picture of him now. His name was Sam Kellett, and he was actually a teacher there in Australia at a school called Glenunga International High School. And in reading the information associated with him, it seems like he was very much beloved, not just by the students, but also by the staff. The principal there described him as a wonderful young man, and it seemed like he was someone that is truly going to be missed. As far as his hobbies, reading some of the other info, one of his was spearfishing. I had to actually look this up because I thought in my head when I was reading all of this information that spearfishing meant like you were, let's say, on top of a boat or a little mini canoe and then using a spear to be able to hit the fish underneath you. But no, it turns out, no, I'm absolutely wrong on that. You're actually deep or underneath the water, and who knows how far deep you go. And so you are fully submerged. That's a big no thank you to me. I'd rather stay on the safety, if you could even call that, when it comes to some type of boat or something else. But still, that was one of his hobbies, and then he was there with his pals on that fateful day. As it turns out, originally, they would always go to a place called Innis National Park. I guess this is where they would either do this or some other form of hobby, but as it turns out, there was some fire that was occurring there, or a fire warning, and this forced them to instead go to here, Goldsmith Beach. When I was reading this info, I just thought, if but for the fact, right? If it wasn't for that particular fire warning, then all of this could have possibly been avoided. But yes, here's essentially what happened. Witnesses and his friends, they still can't really recollect like what occurred on this day. Like they have some of the information, but again, it just happened so fast. And from their vantage point, it was definitely just hard to describe, hard to see. But here's essentially what they stated. Apparently, there was a 16-foot shark that was there in the waters that day. Who knows if it was there for the longest time already, or if some of the type of activities that Sam was doing with his friends attracted the shark. Either way, though, that's when it was going over there, and witnesses said that all of a sudden, as they were just swimming around and then doing their thing, all of a sudden there was this huge activity, something happening within the waters itself. And then that's when one of the witnesses said all of a sudden the ocean was colored red with the blood of Sam. Like clearly something was happening to him, but it was horrible, like to see what was occurring. In fact, one of the witnesses, a guy by the name of Aaron Whitaker, said he turned around and he saw the tail of a shark come out of the water, and it was thrashing around. And then he tried to put his face under the water to see more of it, to see what's happening. He said, I could not see it. All of a sudden, a shark came out of the murky water vertically towards the surface just behind me, and then almost launched itself out of the water. That's the closest description he had when it comes to what was happening there. And then another one, a guy by the name of Nicholas Carson, stated that he was directly behind the shark. He saw the whole body, and he was able to probably give the fullest account when it comes to what it was. He described it about being 5 meters long and then a dark gray color. And then he said, he surmised that it easily looked like a great white shark. But he said it happened so fast. And so when that happened, obviously, there something was occurring to their friends right then and there, but there was no chance. Sam pretty much had no chance whatsoever. These sharks are just a perfect killing machines, just absolutely evolutionary built to take the advantage of everything. And so in this case, I was imagining it just swimming up from under the darker depths of water out of nowhere, seeing Sam, thinking of him as, let's say, some other type of prey, because apparently sharks don't really like human taste or human prey, but they still sometimes accidentally, this stuff happens, right? And so when that happens, it was him all of a sudden in the mouth of the shark, and he was just torn and eaten alive. If you want to get the sense of how bad it was, his body was never recovered. Not a single part of his body was ever found after this incident. Isn't that just crazy, right? He was basically like torn and then just eaten, probably in multiple parts, but all together eaten completely whole. Like, it was just, what a horrible way to go. When I'm talking about some of the other videos and some of the other methods that people have gone out in this playlist here, this one definitely ranks within the worst of the, like, let's say, the top 3. What was recovered was the actual spear gun itself, and it was noted to have, quote unquote, discernible serrated incisions. That just shows the power of the great white shark and the teeth that it has. I mean, it was literally able to take metal and create these serrated incisions on it because of the pound per pound pressure that its mouth has. Absolutely no chance when it comes to this guy, Sam Kellett, surviving any of this. Every now and then, I do read other articles where people do have encounters with sharks, but they tend to be like smaller sharks, if you could even call them smaller. They're still dangerous, of course, but they tend to survive. Like, it's where a leg is lost or an arm is lost or maybe a chunk is bitten off, but they still recover. Here in this case, this was full-blown Jaws. Like, he absolutely just faced the worst nightmare you could ever think of out there in the waters. A creature so perfect when it comes to evolutionary that it hasn't changed for literally like millions of years. And then that was it. He was just gone altogether. But interestingly enough, his parents, who obviously, mourning anything as far as this horrible tragedy, stated that they refused to blame the shark. This was their quote. They said he knew he was a visitor in their backyard, and the last thing he would want is for this shark or any other to be hunted down and cold. And then that's pretty much it. This was a story that actually happened about 2015, and my guess is 6+ years later, no chance that obviously this shark was found then or ever found afterward. After it had its meal, its unfortunate meal, in other words, it just went off back into the sea, and then who knows where it's located now. But that's pretty much it. That's all the information associated with this very horrible tale. Again, some of you are fans out there of being in the water, just swimming around and then just basking in the skylight, in the sunlight and so on. I'm still a little bit averse when it comes to that. Keep me on the beach, but just away from the water because of specific situations like this. And I know the odds. People will state that it's you got more chance of being struck by lightning than, let's say, getting eaten by a shark. But still, what a horrible way to go when that does happen, no, when it comes to a situation like this. But if anybody has any more information, anything else I might have missed, then please post those comments below. What about those of you there in the local area, the Australia area? If you have any more info on that, or maybe something else that came by, then please post those below. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.